Today we're going to add more and count on within 20. So let's count. I love to count. Let's start at 0 and end at 7. Do you want to count with me? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now let's try something called count on. So instead of starting at 0, let's start at 3 and count on till we get to 7. Let's say the number 3, but now we're going to count on. 4, 5, 6, 7. Excellent. Here's a question. It says, what is 4 more than 5? That's actually an addition question. 4 more than 5. If we think about a 10 frame, we can put in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But before we go any further, let's bring that number line back. We want to know what is 4 more than 5. So we can start at 5, and we can do that counting on. 4 more. Starting with the number 5, we would add 1. So we would say 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 4 more. And we ended up on the number 9. So 4 more than 5 is 9. What we did here was start counting on from 5. Rather than going, let's fill in the 10 frame and count them all up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's much faster to count on rather than always starting with the number 1. What is 3 more than 3? Well, let's build it 2 ways. First, with a 10 frame. We'll begin with 3. 1, 2, 3. The question says, what is 3 more than 3? So let's think about our number line. 3 more than 3. So we have to add 3 more. So off we go. 3, 4, 5. 3 more than 3 is 5? No. Be careful when we count on. We have to remember that the first number we say is not what we're starting with. We begin with the next number. What is 3 more than 3? Yes, we begin thinking about and holding the number 3 in our head, and then we count on 3. So, it should sound like this. What is 3 more than 3? 4, 5, 6. We've counted on 3 more, but we haven't said the number 3. Now we can see that 3 more than 3 is 6. It's almost time for you to have a go. But let's practice one more together. What is 6 more than 9? And once again, we're going to be using counting on. We're going to start at 9 and find out what is 6 more than 9. Remember, we have to be careful. We start at 9, but we don't say that number out loud. We hold the number 9 in our head and count on from there, like this. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 6 more than 9 is 15. Okay, pause here and have a go at the bottom two questions. And when you're ready to come back, I'll give you the answers. What is 4 more than 9? I hope you started at 9 and then counted on. If you did it correctly, the answer is 13. How about what is 8 more than 9? Did you get 17? Well done. Here's a first, then, now story. First, Whitney counted 9 frogs near the lake. There they are. Then 4 more frogs jumped out of the water. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now Whitney can see how many frogs at the lake. We're going to think about this story problem and use counting on. Here's our number line. Remember, first, Whitney counted 9 frogs at the lake. We're going to keep that number in our head and count on. How many are we counting on? Well, those 4 frogs, of course. Here we go. 10, 11, 12, 13. Now Whitney can see 13 frogs at the lake. That's a lot of frogs. Here's another first, then, now story. I'm going to read the question to you. First, there were 12 children playing a game. Then, 7 more children joined in the game. Now, there are how many children playing the game? I'm also going to give you a number line. So why don't you pause here, use counting on, and see if you can come up with how many children are playing the game. Right. First, there were 12 children playing a game. If you counted on 7 more, you would see that now there are 19 children playing the game. Is that what you got? First, there were 14 ladybirds that landed on the window. Then, 4 ladybirds flew in to join them. Now, there are how many ladybirds on the window? Well, we could actually think about this counting on question in the form of a bar model. We can see the 14 ladybirds in the big box, and then we can see the 4 ladybirds that joined them as the smaller boxes. Let's try counting on. First, there were 14 ladybirds. Then 4 ladybirds flew in to join them. I know there are 14, so now I can start counting on, but I'm not going to say the number 14. I'm going to hold that in my head. 14 ladybirds. 15, 16, 17, 18. So now I know that there are 18 ladybirds on the window. I kind of wish this was a true story. I love ladybirds. First, there were 4 ladybirds that landed on the window. Then, 14 ladybirds flew in to join them. Now, there are how many ladybirds on the window? Let's think of this again as a bar model. So in the beginning it said, first there were 4 ladybirds that landed on the window. And there they are, 4. Then 14 ladybirds flew in to join them. Let's count on. Remember, we hold the number 4 in our head and count on 14. Okay, here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Wow. Now there are 18 ladybirds on the window. But are you thinking what I'm thinking? That took a long time, and it was hard to keep track of how many I was adding on. Okay, let's have a think about this. Okay, let's look back at those two questions, and let's think about what is the same and what is different. Remember question A, when we started with 14 ladybirds, and then 4 ladybirds flew in to join them? And question B was when we only started with 4 ladybirds, and then 14 ladybirds flew in to join them? Yeah. What's the same? They both ended up having 18 ladybirds on the window. We used a bar model for both, and we used counting on. But which one did you prefer? Which one did you find easier to count on? Are you thinking A? Me too. I liked when the number was larger that we began with, and we only had to count on 4. I found it really difficult to do B when we started with such a small number and had to count on such a huge number. Think about that when you're counting on. Because remember, it doesn't matter which number we begin with. When we're adding, we can start with either part. But when we're counting on, we might want to start with the larger number. Here's a question. It says, use the number line to work out these addition questions. And there are 3 of them. So I'm going to get you to pause here and have a go. Then we'll come back and compare answers in a minute. Are you ready to compare answers? 15 plus 2. If you were using the counting on strategy, were you thinking 15, hold that number in your head, and then count on 2? 16, 17. Yes, the answer would be 17. Now let's look at the next one. 3 plus 16. I'm curious. Did you start with 3, hold that number in your head, and count on 16 more? Or did you try the faster method of starting with 16 and adding 3 more? Whichever way you did it, I'm hoping you got the answer 19. And remember, we want to think of kind of the most efficient or fastest strategy. So the last one was 2 plus 11. What number did you start with? How much did you count on? I'm hoping you started with 11 and then counted on 2 more. 12, 13, ending up with the number 13. And now